Welcome back everyone, and first and foremost, this is not a review. So don't come here expecting a full review on this. All I'm going to do is talk about what we're going to talk about in the video. If you want to see a full review, head on over somewhere else. So I apologize if you're here for a full review, but I'm going to explain to you why this 5600X has dethroned our 3900X on my test bench for graphics cards and gaming performance. But before that, a little bit of a backstory. So we switched over to the 3900X quite some time ago for the test bench, and not too long, it was mostly for memory and storage performance benchmarks, and I only like to run one test bench. So I was like, you know what? It's the latest thing I got. Let's run it. We're gonna go with it. X570, 32 gigs of DDR4 3600. We're gonna roll with this. And well, when they showed the numbers for the Zen 3 parts, I thought those looked good, because it would alleviate the one concern that a lot of people have whenever we do gaming performance with the 3900X in higher end graphics cards, and that's at 1080p performance, where it seems to be quite well restrained with the Zen 2 parts, whereas the Intel parts still hold the lead. But since we cater to DIY audiences, and our DIY audience is overwhelmingly been going Zen for the past couple of years, well, we tend to want to kind of reflect the majority of our audience, so that, you know, when you guys come and you look for numbers, you get what, you know, you should have a better idea of what you're getting, not the absolute best case in the world scenario. But we didn't get sampled, which is no big deal. Not mad. Definitely, me personally, I don't like reviewing processors, motherboards. They drive me crazy. So I'd rather just buy them. So that's what we did. We got queued up on the 5th. It's now the 8th, so we got queued up on the 5th to order from B&H because they had a pre-order. So put in for a 5900X pre-order, thinking, cool, straight swap, core for core, yada yada. Kind of take a quick look and see how things go on our test bench. Well, I pre-ordered it, and when the sale went live, it was back ordered, along with all of you guys who have commented on our post on the community tab, showcasing that you did the same thing and you also got a back order. Beginning to wonder if B&H actually had any to sell. But one of the guys on the site said, Keith, they got them over at Best Buy. Believe me, if you guys have been with the channel for a while, you know the headache I went through with Best Buy with my 3900X, to the point where I canceled the order after a month, and then they still shipped it, and I kept it, but whatever. But they had a 5900X with an add to cart, and they had a 5600X and an add to cart. So I had them pulled both up on my ultra wide, one on one side, one on the other, hit add to cart on both of them, because why not? And I got put in the queue to purchase one, and the second it went live, I was able to hit add to cart and buy. Well, I hit add to cart, buy, got headed out to work, and got the shipping notification, and it was the 5600X. I ordered the 5600X. I accidentally bought the wrong one. But it came in really quick, came in yesterday, so it came in within 2 days, less than 48 hours. I had the chip sitting on my desk, and I wanted to see, well, how does it do? So I went to overclocking it, then I got the results. And before we get into those results, I want to talk about the overclocking numbers on both of these chips. So I ran both of them at 1.35 volts to get the overclock that I did. The 12-core overclock, so you'll see OC in the tab, is a 4.3 gigahertz all-core overclock for the 3900X, but the 5600X is a 4.8 gigahertz overclock at 1.35 volts. I haven't fine-tuned it. That was just rough and dirty, quickly punching it in and seeing what we got. So I wanted to see the gaming performance. But first, let's talk about Cinebench. But wait. Before we jump into the numbers, let's talk about the test bench. It's an Asus X570 tough gaming Wi-Fi motherboard, so not top of the line, very mid-range, very solid. And we've got Kingston HyperX Predator DDR4 3600 CL16 on there. That's what we got going. Storage, primary drive is a T-Force Cardia T440 NVMe 4.0 drive. So we are going Gen 4 all across the board. Graphics card that we're using is an RTX 3080 Founders Edition. Okay, let's get to those benchmarks. So up on screen you see Cinebench R20, and you see it with a single core around between 5 and 515 for the 3900X, between the overclocked and regular where it's boosting all the way up. 5600X, however, 614 with the OC, 599 stock, and 4820 on the multi-core. Sure, that's lower than the 7657 of the 3900X, but it's not half. It's actually quite good. Let's jump into gaming. We're going to start with the 720p numbers. We've got Forza Horizon 4 gains a marketable lead on the 5600X, and especially once overclocked. The overclock doesn't make a big difference on the 5600X, but it does make a bigger difference than the 3900X. And you can see here that it does help boost the 1% percentiles, and that's kind of the important part here. Moving into Shadow of Tomb Raider to 720p low, same story again. We're looking at a roughly 30 to 40 FPS increase by going to half the cores, but more performant cores, I guess you could say. Total War Troy sees the same story yet again, except this one sees a massive uplift on the averages to the point where the 1% percentiles are actually as good as the averages on the 3900X. Okay, so I got it. 720p. Keith, nobody's playing at 720p. Even your own benchmarks don't start until 1080p. That's cool. So we looked at 1080p to see the difference here. Forza Horizon 4, once again, marketable increase. You know, that's roughly 30 FPS increase by going to the 5600X at 1080p ultra settings. Shadow of the Tomb Raider yields a very similar story, going from stock speeds of 178 on the 3900X to 210 on the 5600X. And the same thing with, Total War Saga Troy doesn't see quite the uplift on the averages, but the 1% percentiles are marvelous. So truth is, we're going to leave the 5600X on the test bench for the foreseeable future. I mean, I'm not doing memory reviews anymore. I'm not doing storage reviews. We're just doing GPU and gaming performance. So if AMD sends out another chip, we'll upgrade it and we'll see if there makes a difference there. But as it goes, we're going to leave the Ryzen 5 5600X on the test bench. I'm going to leave it clocked at 4.8 gigahertz just because it helps lock the frequencies and lowers the variable and things are more consistent. So I would not necessarily recommend someone out there with a 3900X to swap it out for a 5600X. That was not the point of this video. This is strictly our test bench, and the results were quite surprising to me. All right, guys, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe, and you know what? Hit the notification bell if you want to. We'll catch you guys in the next one.